Okay, so like I promised in the previous video, that is part one. This is part two. I demonstrated that I will how is IPO chart, what are the rules that we could do in order to make sure that we have a clean or a correct IPO chart. Because if you have a correct IPO chart, then you have a good performing a program. So you need not to miss any step. Now let's look at example two. We have IPO chart examples. We have done the first one, then here we have the second one. It says ask the user to input the student's ID number. Okay, I told you that after this keyword accept, everything that comes after that until the full stop or until whatever that may be to terminate that line, you have to put it under the colon. So now the first thing is to read the question and try to take all the actions that are actually needed for us to process or to solve this problem. So now we say ask the user to input the student's number, ID number, and two test marks. Calculate and display the average mark. We know that we know how to calculate average mark, like you have the formula. Please do not forget that we in the processing don't tell us how to do it. Tell us what to do. This question is telling you what to do. What is that you must do? Calculate average. Don't tell us how. You will solve that in your pseudocode. Alright, the first step now we have to do is identify all the actions needed. So let's identify the action in a different column, just to make it okay. I know it might not be visible on your side, but that's fine. We say accept, and what is it that we're going to accept here? Let's try this one. Yeah, accept. The other one, what is the other keyword? I see a verb now. It is calculate, and the other one is display. So I see three verbs. I see accept, I see calculate, I see display, and I see calculate average. Okay, so now let's go. The other one is to let's see. So they say list all the objects associated with the action. We have accept. What are the objects that are associated with the word accept? These two test marks are associated with what? Accept. Average mark is associated with what? Calculate and display, meaning that we are calculating and displaying what? Average mark. So now let's go and list actions in sibling English in correct order. Just have to use it in correct order there. Correct order in the processing. Do not write the pseudocode instruction. Okay, so now let's write this program now in our own. So we have to make up a table, and when we make up a table, we have to write the following: three columns, and forget to remove these ones. So here we're going to write input. Here we write processing. The last one we write output. Remember, in the input we write everything that is related to input variable. In anything that user must accept or must give us, we write it there. So the first one, they said you must accept the student ID. I'll just write ID number. The second one is two test mark. The first one I'll say test one, second one test two. Now let's go here where they said you must accept. Let me show you a trick that we use here. We go to this line and we say gonna write it like this. Here just gonna put this statement, accept the user. So just say accept the student ID number and two test mark. You have to write in action in a accept the student's ID number and two test mark. That is an English. That's an English. You can put it in like this. Just put dot like that, just to, because they say in correct order. This is just to be in order. Or maybe you could just write one, two. That is will be and the preference of your lecturer. So now what is it that you have to do the after accepting the two test mark and ID number? Let's look at this question. It's saying calculate and display the average. Okay, now let's write our RPO. We say what? Calculate average mark. So another trick that we use here, you just have to write this whole statement, calculate, and put it like that. Uh, calculate and display. Calculate and display the average mark. So that is how we write that. So after that, what is it that we display here? What will be our output? For us to know that, we go here and we look at our program. A program, they said you must display average. The thing that they said you must display will be a variable name. Here in this instance will be what? Average. So we go back to our question and we say average, then we display average. You can say average mark, then that is fine. Okay, so there is this whole program for the test one. So we can write a pseudocode here for that, just to see if it can work. And we say display, and we write declare ID number. ID number has to be as a string, and we go again and we declare test one followed by test2. Test mark can have decimals, so you have to write it as real. So now let's say display, enter your ID number, and we write that and we say accept. What is followed by accept is what? It's a variable name. Okay, so now we write again and we say we put it like this. It say enter the test1 mark, and here we write what? Test1. Same applies. Just going to copy and paste this, and here where there's test1 we write test2. Here where there's test2 we write test that. So the same must calculate average. Okay, so this means I also have to declare what? Average. You see that my variable names are the same here. What I have variable name test1, I have variable name test1 average mark. So I have to put it like that. But this one is in capital letters, so it's fine. We could just replace this one. I think was overwritten by this is Grammarly. So now let's come here and calculate average mark. So average mark will be sum of the test, which is two test mark, and we divide them by 2, and we display. We say display average mark. When you write this program, a user won't understand what this answer here will be. Meaning that if you just say, if you write that line like that, the user will not be able to understand that. So you need to have this message. You say average mark, put it like this, average mark. You see this line? I need you to pay attention to this line. I'll highlight that in yellow. It says display average mark of the student. No, so we just concatenated that word with what? With the average that we calculated here. So now this is our average. We have these two line, this line. Remember here in our IPO, we just said calculate and display average. So we also have to write what? Display message, because there is a message as well. This is a message. So now calculate and display average and message. This is a message. If you're not gonna write this part that says message here, you have to remove it here on your pseudocode. Cut that thing and just say display average. Then you remove it here and remove it here. But if you're going to write your average and include that message and say calculate average, then you must also input it here and also on your pseudocode. I hope you get that clear. So no, there is no need for you to write that message that say average mark is. No, just write and message. Calculate and display average mark and message. I hope you get that. Meaning that here you're not calculating the average. So for us to break that, we have to say what? Calculate average only. Put it like this. Put it like that. So here we say display average mark and message. So that's how we do it, and we further put the message here. So that is how we rewrite the question. Calculate and display the average mark and message. Here we just say calculate average mark, then the next line will be display average. You see, we calculated average here. That is the second line, the second last line. The other one is say display message and average, or just say average and message. And the output will be what? Will be a message, because the message will also be our output, meaning that the user will see this part that says average mark is, and then that is the whole thing about IPO. So thank you for watching.